new grinder and you send the old one back, I don't quote prices because I don't know the prices. I'm not I'm not in the office enough to quote prices, so I don't want to put my foot in my mouth and tell y'all it's going to be $600 and you get a bill and say, I don't think so. But before any of that transpires, if you call and say, well, I got a grinder, I want to exchange, look at exchange price or whatever, those guys will give you quotes and stuff on how much it's going to cost. And on the repair aspect of it, they get the grinder in, they'll tear it down and tell you a lot of parts they reuse, only the parts that they don't use that you pay for. And I think they got like a not to exceed price on the repairs. So, but again, that's way down the road. I hope before you guys even think about looking at an exchange or repair. If you should walk down there and you hear like a vibrating noise coming from that auger, don't worry about it, because if it's running, 9 times out of 10 it's going in this reverse mode, and all it is the brush is tailored so that in the forward mode the brushes are the opposite way of the way it's going, and when it goes into reverse mode, all it is the brush catching that screen when it's going into reverse mode. And you'll probably see that when we go down there. I'll let it run so you can see what it sounds like. F2, there's your cycle for your auger. Right now it's set up at 30, 8, 25, 8, and 60. Remember I said forward, stop, reverse, stop, forward. If I wanted to change that, again, it's always going to be, and I hit clear, and I just put the same time back in there. Enter, scroll over to the next one, do the same thing. If you can see that it's not going to let you mess up because I can't put nothing else in there. See? Only way you're going to be able to put the number in is you got to hit clear. And the only way it's going to accept the number is you got to hit enter, because if you put the number in there and say, I'll show you. Let me see. I don't want that one. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go to F3. See? Right. Now I can go to F3. There's what I was talking about, your grinder run times, how many hours you got on it. There's your grinder reversing jams if you wanted to come out here and look to see if you had any overnight. There's your overloads and overtemps. How many days and hours your augers run. And same thing, reversing jams, overload, overtemps. And that's your on-time delay, which is set right now at 90 seconds. That's what I was telling you about. If once the conveyor starts, you can come over here and you'll see this thing starting to count down. And once it gets to 0, it'll start up that augering grinder. If I want to change that, which I just go 45. There we go. That's basically it. And there's that fail light. If I go right now to there and there, the auger's running. Right. If I go here, the auger's not running. I have to do it over there. If I go here, it's on this timer, yeah. It's basically it in a nutshell. Oh, again, if you see this fail light, sometimes you can press reset and it'll reset. If not, see what you got up there. and just go from there. Sometimes you get current sensor fail, then you can hit reset, or you can power it down and power it back up. On that retorque, when you retorque that thing, if you want to reset it to clear that message out, just do this. Just go from off to auto about 3 times. Hit reset. Should be all right. Okay. Now we can go to the other side. Nobody's got any Allen wrenches out here?
Bill,
Bill.
can I ask a question? Under
Yeah.
normal conditions, if we're running the system through the SCADA, that would, the controls here would be set to local, which would get you control through this panel, and then set your
Auto.
both to auto.
Yep.
That'll send it to SCADA.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, if your SCADA is set up, you should see what this thing is doing anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. But typically on the SCADA system, you leave it in auto. And put it in remote. If you're doing something over there and you want to have access, just shut it off real quick or whatever.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you go over the time setting again with me real quick?
The clock, you mean?
Yep.
Just go F1 and enter at the same time. Scroll over with your arrow, hit clear, and then 09 still, so I'll put 09 back. Enter. And then for your minutes, same thing. Scroll over, clear, enter. And then just get out of there. You can go to that, go back there, and there it is. That's for anything you want to change. Looking at your sheet, you got to hit that number and enter at the same time. Whatever number you're going to clear, whatever number you're going to reset, hit clear. Otherwise, you ain't going to be able to do nothing. It's just going to sit there. Okay? All right. That's your drain. Right there.
And what are these?
This is your bypass for your solenoid. In case you had a problem, you wanted to take the solenoid out, you just close off this valve and regulate your flow with this valve. Same with, same with this one right here. Right now, your bypass is open. I don't know why, maybe because the system's not running, but right now, with both of these open, you're gonna have water going both ways. I think he had it there to see if that solenoid was working or something.
What's that you have your hand on?
This is your motor for your auger. Your motor, gearbox for the auger, and your motor for your grinder. Motor coupling for your grinder.
Water.
But again, on here, all of these are, if you loosen every last one of these bolts, you gotta go clockwise or counterclockwise. Quarter turn to a half a turn. The torque is 22 foot-pound or 30 newton meters. If you loosen all these, don't ever take these bolts out, because all you got to do is loosen it, and it loosens that shrink disc. And you can, once you loosen them, you can pop that gearbox off. I mean, you ain't gonna just pop it off, but it'll come off with those just being loose. And the only thing you'll have left is that shaft, the rest of that shaft on the other side of there, because you got a hollow fit right here inside this thing. And this is what I was talking about. If you ever have to send this grinder back, take your motor and all this section off. If nothing's wrong with your motor and stuff. Plus it's cheaper to ship. And to pop this thing loose, you just take all these bolts for your hopper, take these bolts loose on the grinder, and there you have it. And to change this brush out again, you can pop this gearbox out, or you can try pulling the whole thing out. And take these nuts loose right here, all the way around, and just pull that. It just comes straight out, because this right here is bolted to the auger brush itself. And that brush is a very short brush. So what happens is your stuff comes in, gets ground up right here, dumps down into here, where it falls into. This thing's got a screen on it in there to keep it from going anywhere else other than that screen. It takes it and pushes it. Pete was asking me yesterday, what it does is just push this stuff like to the end, and then as it cakes up, that's where you get your cake from, and just pushes it on out. I think there might be some pictures in that book too, in that manual. But it gets sprayed right here. Which Randy's going to turn these pipes down because you don't want water shooting all over the place. So he's going to turn the pipe down to get a better wash effect. Get sprayed, then you got your spray wash right here, this pipe right here, which cleans it again as it's in there, as it goes back and forth. And what I was talking about on that solenoid valve, it's not right here, is you can adjust, well, that's your bypass. You can adjust this valve right here. Just turn it down, close it off a little bit or whatever to, if you think you got too much pressure there, just close it off a little bit. Same with this one. The way you can tell your solenoid valve is bad, if you should come out here and let's say that everything's off and you still got water coming out of here, chances are the solenoid valve's gone. Sometimes you can pop this and clean that disc out and put it back and it'll work. And here's your drain that I was talking about. Right here where your water comes out and goes right back in. The other thing is if you ever got if for some strange reason, which I don't know of anybody that's had any problem with the augers so far as having to send them back or nothing. But if you ever had to send them back, same thing. My advice would be if you don't have a problem with the motor or the gearbox, yank the motor and gearbox off. Chances are if that brush got to be changed out, you guys are probably going to call us up here the first time. It's always good training also to, for one of us to come up here and work with you on it. So that way, you know that it's done right. It's pretty simple, like I said. It's got, the only thing that's holding that brush in is pins. And it goes from one end to the other. And all you got to do is, the bristles go the opposite way of the rotation of the auger. That's to keep from hitting those holes as it goes through. And I think the holes in this thing are like 6 millimeter in that screen that's inside of there.
How about inspection of that brush, Bill? It shows how to get into the machine.
If you wanted to look at that, you can come right here to this cover. And this, you can even pull this cover to see what I was talking about earlier, see if you actually got a jam in there. If you're getting a jam fault over there on your controller, just pop this cover, these 4 bolts out of the cover. And yeah. If you wanted to shut it down or whatever and drain it, you just pull this plug right here. Pull that plug, just drain the rest of the water out. See that brush on it goes to right there.
So that brush comes right out of this?
It stops right here.
You have to change the whole
Yeah.
You can't just change the brush?
No, you can change the brush.
Okay.
And let me see if I can find one for you. If you put your finger down there, you can feel one of them. There's a pin right there, roll pins that holds it in. You don't have to mess with the screen. You can just pull it straight out of the screen. But when you put a new brush back in there, because it's yeah. Yeah.
So what, you gotta put the auger back in first and then put the screen in, is that what?
No, the screen will be in there. That's what I'm saying. These typically, like this one, this screen doesn't have to come out. All you got to do is go to the other end, unbolt it, and pull this whole piece out. Yeah. The longer ones,
Yeah.
the regular augers have a long screen on them, and you have to unbolt the screen and all that crap. I'm gonna keep your hands clear. I'm gonna go over here and put it in the remote.
It's like a right thing.
See those pins? I'm gonna stop it real quick. Yeah.
What are we looking at?
They're just eighth inch roll pins.
What are those pins for?
That's to hold this brush in. And see, the good thing about it is, if you change this thing out and you're putting the same size pin back in, all you got to do is drill right through the same hole, instead of having to drill 3 holes right here. Typically, what we do is we usually drill new holes. You can only drill so many holes in this thing before you have to place the whole thing.
What do you mean by drilling the hole? When you take the brushes out, you gotta put new holes in?
Yeah, typically that's what we do in the field when we go out.
Oh, because you figure they're warm.
Yeah, yeah. But if you can get another one, go right through the same hole without wobbling it out.
The holes already
Yeah,
drilled into the brushes,
no,
so
no.
you have to drill the
Yeah,
brushes. So
yeah. That's what I'm saying. You can possibly use the same hole, and all you got to do is drill through the brush instead of having to drill through the spiral itself. Makes it a hell of a lot easier. And you have to use like a right angle drill to drill those, because a regular drill ain't gonna fit in here.
Not in that position at home.
No, not unless you go at an angle with a bit about this long, which is what I had to do up in upstate New York. Because a right angle drill wouldn't even fit in there. Because they had one of the
But more or
little,
less, you're gonna do this with the auger out anyway, so
yeah,
put your brushes on while it's out,
yep.
so you could use a regular, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you can't get a regular drill in here to drill it, unless you're going like at an angle. But then if you're going at an angle, this thing has a rod down in there that these brushes loop around. So if you go at an angle, you stand a chance of hitting that rod and
These
popping
holes
the
are
drill.
always all, you don't have any problem with any holes in the auger, you don't have to re-drill the auger, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, the auger you do?
Sometimes you do.
Okay.
If you feel like you can drill through the same hole with the bit without wobbling it out any, then no problem. Sometimes you can drill through the same, and even if you wobble it out, you can ping these things a little bit.
That's gonna be a pain in the ass.
Actually, it's not. Believe it or not, it's easier than you think it is. The suck part is pulling it out.